Pierce County Historical Association is now bringing you a special video presentation of a very talented and innovative Maiden Rock amateur photographer, Fred Johnson. His are some of the best agricultural photos in our collection, so we wanted to learn more about him. He reportedly always had a camera with him, and Fred proved over and over that selfies are not a new thing. He would take these selfies by rigging up a string tied to his camera. All the pictures with him in the photo, be sure to watch for that string. Carl Frederick Johnson was born June 5, 1888, on a farm high on a bluff overlooking Lake Pepin in Section 23 of Maiden Rock Township to Adolph and Elsa Johnson. He was the only surviving child when his mother died in 1907, and then his father passed away in 1909, leaving Fred as a 21-year-old to do the farming all alone. He never married, so with an empty house, he would take in boarders over the years. Never owning a car, his main means of transportation was a bicycle. The farm work was done by hand along with his 2 horses. He had cows and chickens for livestock. He never owned a tractor, never had electricity or a well for water. The water used was from a rain that would run from the roof into a cistern. There was a cistern by the house, one by the barn, and another by the granary. Fred was intelligent, friendly, hardworking, a good neighbor, and well-liked by all that knew him. Photography was a major interest of Fred's. He had many cameras and a darkroom upstairs in his house to develop his film. Likely self-taught, Fred took many photos of himself, his horses and his dog Toby, riverboats, his farm, and the beautiful landscape around Maiden Rock, Wisconsin. Most of his photographs had dates written on the back, and he kept meticulous records of when and where the photo was taken. Also the exposures used, what type of film was in the camera, and even what the lighting was that day. Of the photos shown here that were dated, they were all from 1943, which would end up being the year before he died. Now I'll let you enjoy more of his farming photos. Fred was very interested in boats. He made a fishing boat for himself and would keep it docked at Pine Creek that has access to Lake Pepin. Fred's property was above Pine Creek, and it was known that Fred caught a lot of fish. Fred built a lookout shack on the edge of the bluff. From here, he would watch Lake Pepin for barges coming or going, and also boats that would be landing in Maiden Rock. When he would spot a barge or boat from the shack, he would go down the hillside, cross the railroad tracks, and take pictures of the boats. He had hundreds of photographs of boats in his collection. Fred also had a constant companion, Toby, his dog. Toby was with Fred everywhere he went, and even in the fishing boat. Fred would walk through the woods to Maiden Rock daily. When he would go further, he would take his bicycle through the woods to the road below, now Highway 35, and ride his bicycle to Stockholm, Red Wing, or wherever he wanted to go. Fred was riding his bicycle and was hit by a car driven by a Maiden Rock gentleman. Fred passed away at the hospital from his injuries. The year was 1944. The next several photographs are of the village of Maiden Rock. Next are a few photos he took of the village of Plum City. Here's a great photo he took of the Bay City sand mine. Fred's farm was sold to Sidney and Grace Johnson in 1946. Fred's land joined the Johnson farm. All the contents of the house and Fred's photography equipment and photographs were included in the purchase. We are so thankful that the Johnson family chose to preserve what would become Fred's legacy. These photos show a year in the life of a farmer. Sadly, Fred passed away the very next year. We can only wonder how he would feel with his art being shared and appreciated over 80 years later. A special thank you to Harriet Rothy and Barbara Sand, who are willing to share their memories of Fred and donate to us hundreds of his negatives and photos. If interested in viewing his entire collection, please attend one of our open houses on the first Sunday of every month, unless it falls on a holiday, or schedule an appointment with our volunteers. If you wish to have or use a photo from this collection, please contact the PCHA for permission.